Good morning. Thanks for joining Andrea and I as we talk about an event coming up on September 24th. I have the pleasure of being the MC for Bloom Early Learning. Bloom Early Learning is just an incredible organization that believes in the beginning of people's lives, starting out on the right track. And Andrea and I are having so much fun because we used to work together at United Way and we had a great time. Even when there was tears or deep stories, we always had a great time helping celebrate raising money for great causes. Well, we have decided to partner again to raise money and ask for sponsors to create scholarship programs for Bloom Early Learning. September 24th, we have an event. We would love for you to join us at the event. We would love for you to create your own watch party, to watch individually, whatever it is. But Andrea, tell us, why did you get involved with Bloom?
Wow, that's a great question, Annie. And I think it's just because education is so transformational. And it really begins at the early onset of one's early learning program. It needs to be positive, it needs to be energized. We need to teach children how to learn, not necessarily what to learn. And I love Bloom just because it's a small nonprofit with a big mission to nurture and support every child that comes through the door.
That's right. And I believe so much, Andrea, in the belief that the beginning matters, maybe the most, right? And so in order to have an exceptional life, in order to be the exception, to start a life, we need that foundation. And nobody can do it alone. No matter how great your parents are, no matter how much financial support you do have, it's still hard. But especially for those of us that have been single parents or have struggled with financially, it can be really challenging. One of the things I love about Bloom and why I wanted to be part of it is we know starting a child's life outright can really affect the rest of their life. But part of the Bloom mission is that 50% of these young students that you create scholarships, you invite other people to partner with them in order to create a great experience, not just for the child, but for the whole family. So I'm excited because I already had the opportunity to interview 3 families. And what I learned from each of them that has been part of the Bloom family is that it doesn't just encourage and support that child's learning, but really it supports the whole family. And it felt like such a loving, invited place where people could be themselves and could show up and say, I'm overwhelmed, can you help me? And everyone that works there and volunteers there, like Andrea, so it comes together with the families and supports them, not only through financial scholarships, but through encouragement, support, listening ears, and allowing these families to be seen. What is your experience there, Andrea? What do you do there? What's your role? And what is your experience with Bloom?
Well, a friend of mine got me involved with Bloom about 15 years ago when they were doing a garage sale in their home to raise money. And that's when it was called Kids Care for Connection. And that was a long time ago. And then she invited me to join their marketing committee. And I was just thrilled to be able to share my time, share my talents, and really walk alongside people that have such a heart for the mission of each child and each family that walks through the door. So I have been a part of the Bloom board now for a little over a year and a half, and that's really fun and exciting to learn how the organization operates, and the financial stability of Bloom is super important. So it's fun to be able to wrap my arms around that. And then I've been asked to lead and chair the marketing team. So there's just so much energy in that group of people, and we want to do so many things all the time just to give a big shout out about how cool Bloom is.
That creative community. And so September 24th is kind of your big annual event. And I'm so grateful to be the MC for that. But I'm excited to know, what if I stay home a lot, or I want to be there, or is it in person, or how can people get involved, Andrea? We know that we've decided, just for the safety of everyone, to do another year in the virtual world, but there's still ways we can connect and get involved. So can you tell us the different ways to invite our audience to
Absolutely.
join us?
Yes, thank you for asking, Annie. I love that. So, people can participate in a number of different ways. All they need, first of all, is their personal electronic device. So, you can connect, go to www.bloomearlylearning.org into the What's New page and click on register. It's a free event. You can be in the comfort of your own home. You can invite your pod friends and have your own watch party at your house, which would be super duper fun. And Cinema Grill in New Hope is going to open their doors to us to have a large community watch party. So you can even bring your small pod there. It's limited seating, so I would encourage people to sign up rather quickly, but we will have a person hosting, and Annie will be live in the studio, and it's just going to be a fun, full night of games and prizes and lots of cool silent auction things to bid on and fun ways to wrap your arms around Bloom. So we welcome you to join us September 24th.
I love that. We have a big goal this year. Our goal is to reach $150,000. And we know that with our listeners and with our participants, we're going to do it. And I know there's so many great causes out there. And one of the reasons Bloom is so important to myself and to Andrea is that it's the foundation. Sometimes you don't get to hear the story of how these lives turn out. It's partially why I like to share parts of my story, is that those that invest in us when we're young can create a lifelong journey of education, of hard work, of believing in ourselves because someone else believed in us. And there's 3 families that I had the privilege of interviewing, and you get to hear how not only does it affect the child and the parents, but it also affects the grandparents. That when you invest in Bloom, you're not just investing in one life, you're investing in the whole family. And we're believing that we're giving people a foundation. We're creating scholarships so people can have a foundation of education, support, and community that will affect them and their choices in the future. And so we're just asking you to dig a little bit deeper, to look at Bloom, to research it, to understand why this cause matters so much and why we need your dollars, not only to keep the doors open, but to keep not having to say no to anyone. When someone shows up and they can't afford it, we want to say, listen, there's someone that wants to partner, that wants to sponsor you, that wants to sponsor Bloom Early Learning, so that you can be here and be a participant, and that we will support you as an individual child, your parents, your grandparents, your community, and the partnerships and the families and the friends that are grown out of Bloom. I love the word bloom too. We are planting something to grow something beautiful, right, Andrea?
Absolutely. We're blossoming little lives into tomorrow's great future opportunities, one child, one family at a time. So please come join us. You'll be glad you did.
Yes, not only will you have fun, but you'll be inspired and encouraged. And you'll also, more than anything, I always think when we get a give, it makes our lives great. Like there's a lot to be grateful for, and certainly start with that gratitude. But when we think about generosity, giving our times, our talents, and our resources to another person, that's how we go on to have a great life. You may never see the face of the child that you support, or you may, maybe you'll come and volunteer as well. But if you know that you are investing in a young life, what you're really investing in is the future. And I have the privilege a lot of talking about hope. And when I ask people, what are you hopeful for? The number one answer I get lately is our children. I'm hopeful that they're going to be more compassionate, more kind, that the future looks bright because we have amazing kids. But we have to invest in those kids. Even the ones that can't afford to invest in themselves right now, you could partner and you could be that investment in the future and in the hope of our future. So we just invite you to join us on September 24th. Join us virtually, individually, or go out to Hope Cinema and join us in a group. Make sure to register because, like Andrea said, limited seating. Anything else you want to tell us, Andrea, before we say goodbye and to our listeners?
Annie, I just love and adore you, and I love all of your optimism and your energy and the following that you have, the group of people who really know that we really do need to invest one person at a time and really to pay it forward. We're so grateful. We're so privileged to be in this country, to have access to all these different resources. And I just want to encourage everybody to dig deep and to figure out what their strengths are and what their passions are, and give from that reservoir.
That is wonderful. When we make a difference in a child's life, it makes a difference in a huge future. So thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you on September 24th as we join you virtually, but we will know your smiling faces are there, and we can't wait to see you and help support Bloom Early Learning. And please join us. Thanks so much for listening today.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.